So I'm going to show the books that I'm going to be reading in the coming week, because I have a whole pile of books over here. And some of these books might seem, I don't know, surprising in the topic, but I am someone who is reading a lot of different fields and different, topics and stuff, because I find that this whole holistic type of perspective is essential. So the book that I've been reading in this weekend, basically, because I have sort of read all of the course literature that I have left in the courses of the spring, except for the master, because I have one more course in the master. But for the other courses that I have two ones starting in a couple of weeks, but I have read all of that literature. So therefore I have like this space of time to sort of just delve into other types of literature and stuff. So I'm taking advantage of that. And the book that I've been reading this weekend is actually called Theoretical Issues in Psychology. And this is an introduction to the topic. And the one that I'm reading is the third edition. And this one is, I think I will mispronounce the names here, but excuse me for that. It's called Sasha Beam and Huib Lauren de Young. I don't know. Anyway, this book is actually really good. It is talking about the philosophical foundations for philosophy, or not for philosophy, but for psychology, basically, when it comes to, the philosophy behind the methods and the kind of concepts and theories that are sort of built into the field of psychology, and sort of where there are, basically theoretical issues in relation to that. And this one, because I've been reading quite a lot about philosophy and continental philosophy lately, in relation to just philosophy behind science. But this book is also sort of touching on that topic, but within the field of psychology in relation to that. And I actually read a course in neuroscience, so therefore I have, and also I have studied psychology, so I sort of have some concepts from there. And I really think this one is interesting. It really brings some interesting points on, some of the, sort of fails or potential types of fails that could end up in relation to these things. So this one, I'm like halfway through it, so I'm going to try and finish this one by tomorrow, because I have a whole bunch of other books that I want to be able to read. And this is now where it might get interesting, but these are like open books for anyone to read. And I definitely think that nowadays, with this whole globalized type of society, and with the transnationalism and all these things, it's quite interesting and important to have a understanding for how things are formulated and sort of conceptualized, and how things are, told to us who are citizens in this world today, So the first book that I have here that I picked up today, which I'm from the library in the university, is called Essence of Assessment, Methods and Problems of Intelligent Analysis. And this one is by a Swedish author. And this one is actually published by the National Defense Council. So I'm going to be reading this one also in the week, and this one is just about like intelligence analysis, as it says in the title, and I'm quite just interested in the topic itself. So therefore I'm going to read this one, and this is actually for like, for academic type of readers, or someone who is, planning on working in this sort of field, or just interested, or whatever reason. So yeah, this book, interesting, I'm going to read it. And then I have another book here, which is looking quite old and well read, and it's called Strategy, an Introduction. And now the title is in Swedish because it is a Swedish book. And the authors are Roos and von Krög, and I don't know honestly how to say it, but and then the other third author is also Roos. And this one is published by a Swedish university press, publishing press, actually the university where I'm currently studying at. So this one is just about strategies and how to sort of make strategies, and I feel like you basically need strategies for everything in your life, whether it is about planning your day or doing something in your professional role or doing something in like some, I don't know, leisure, free time type of organization or whatever you're doing, you know. Strategy, important to know how to make those types of things. And so I'm going to read this one and get some ideas and, you know, expand my sort of understanding for all types of matters. And then I have another book which is just black, and I actually must say that I prefer books that do not have the title on them, because when I'm sitting and reading and I'm reading about topics that I feel might be, you know, people might think things just due to the title that I'm reading. For example, if I read about intelligent analysis or something, I actually prefer if it's just like a black cover, because, you know, it's just something I prefer. So this one is also by a Swedish author, which is Wilhelm Agrell. And this one is called, if I'm going to translate this into to English, it is called, oh dear, The Art of Guessing Right. And it's intelligence service basics, sort of, you know, intelligence, I don't know, you know, even how to say. Anyway, so this book, I think it's just like an overview of different, you know, topics from here and there. So let's say from behaviorism and from psychology and some other types of matters and stuff, you know, and just, you know, combined into a book. So I thought I would read this one because it seems interesting to me. So that one I'm also going to read. And then I have another book here which also just have a black plain cover, and I'm so happy about it because, as I said, I do not like the covers that has like the title of the matter of the book, you know, on. So this one is just project management, and I am going to either now in the summer, inshallah, do a course in project management, or I might do it in the autumn because I have applied for the autumn courses. I'm going to have still 2 courses for the master that I'm doing, and then I'm going to do a bachelor project, and then I'm going to have 1 more course on the side of that. So, and that might be project management unless I'm doing it now in summer. But either way, I want to learn about project management because I find that most jobs that I'm applying for and sort of is interested in is, you know, connected to project management. Even if it's about coordination, coordinator type of things, project management is quite essential actually. So therefore I'm going to, I might even purchase this book myself actually, because I feel like this project management like overview book is something I would like to have, so I can go back and just, you know, look through the book and see if there is something I might need in a later stage. But I borrowed this one so I can have a, you know, flip through it, and maybe I just read it kind of briefly now to get a perspective on what it is about, and then I also will be more prepared once I actually going to take that course. And also in case I might need some of this stuff in here, you know, before that, and just start to process it into my mind and my, you know, understanding of the world and so forth. And also if I want to buy this book, I will also know what's in here, so I can sort of know if I want to spend my money on it. And then I'm still reading this book, which is called The Formations of the Secular, Christianity, Islam and Modernity by Talal Asad. And this one I am sort of halfway through, and this one is really good. It's like idea type of like ideas, you know, and like culture, history, all these types of things and mixed together. Really good book. I'm going to read this one, but I have actually had some other books that I had to read over, you know, the previous week. So, and that's why I don't have those books in particular here. But I was reading some other book for the courses that I have ahead of the spring, but that I sort of now am finished with when it comes to the literature, except the articles, because obviously all of the courses has a ton of research articles as well, and some chapters here and there, you know, out of some book. Those I have not read, but you know, other types of books that were included. So anyhow, I actually been reading this one at the gym mainly. So as you can see, I got halfway through it just by reading this one at the gym. So I mean, I go to the gym almost every day if I'm not running or doing something outdoor. But this book is something I'm going to continue with and try and finish it off this week, you know, this like new week, you know. And then I also started in this previous week actually with macroeconomy. So this summer I am probably inshallah going to be doing macroeconomy, because that's something I have applied for and something I really want to just, you know, take a course in. Because I have done more like, you know, business, for example, what is it called? Financial accounting, management accounting, those types of things like within a business and corporate finance. But I just want to get this whole more state type of macro perspective on economy and how those things are functioning, because I feel like the things I have sort of studied about like public health, which I have my degree in, is something that always is touching on the BNP of a population and all these things and all the matters that sort of is linking together things into the more wider perspective of the economy in a certain area and the, you know, where a population is sort of located. So therefore I find that macroeconomy is really good to sort of dive into and just have, you know, taken a course in, getting some certification on it, you know. So I'm reading this book, and obviously this is more like mathematical equations and stuff included, which is kind of nice, because currently, like in the now past, I have been doing more like, you know, theoretical types of courses, which is more like text and typing and analysis and like critical thinking and, you know, writing things basically. But so it's nice to sort of break that and just have some more mathematical equations and stuff, because the last thing with math I did was like that I actually got a certification on was like management accounting. So, and also I was doing corporate finance, but I mean, yeah. So now this will be nice to just read about some more like finance stuff again. I don't really enjoy finance and stuff too much, but I'm still interested in it because it is a very essential part of the world and the society, and I find that everyone needs to know something about math and just in general the financial environment that we are sort of a part of, you know. Even if we don't even want to be part of it, we are a part of it, you know. And then I have one more book that I'm also, you know, sort of reading in the evening before I go to sleep, and I'm gonna show what that one is. And this book is really good, and it's by 1200 century author by Abu Hamid al-Ghazali, and this one is called the 99 Beautiful Names of God or Allah. So this book is amazing. I mean, he was alive in the 1200th century. Oh no, he was not alive in the 1200th century. Now I'm actually wrong. He actually was alive in the 1111, you know, century up until then. So but he have a very interesting life story, because he was actually studying a lot. He studied, I think he did law, medicine, and different philosophy and so forth, and he became a professor. And I think he was located in Persia back in the days, and he was, I don't remember the location where he was being a professor. I think it's called Nisanpur or something like that, Nisanpur. And then he sort of had a life crisis, and he was just questioning his whole career, and he was very successful in what he was doing, and he was very his lectures and stuff were he had like huge audience at his lectures, at the university where he was sort of, professor. And then, because also back in those types of ages, medicine and law and stuff, it was not so like their own types of field. It was more like if you went and studied, you would study everything, and I really like that mindset. But I know that it is a hassle to study more than one topic. Obviously I'm trying to study a lot, but that's just what I prefer. So Abu Hamid al-Ghazali, he also he was a theologian, he was doing like theology within Islam, and he is the most famous theologian within Islam's entire history. And he was a philosopher, and then once he had that sort of crisis, I think he went on a pilgrimage to Mecca, and I think he touched down in Jerusalem and some other locations, and he became also a Sufi, so he was like an Islamic mystic. So he was living kind of a ascetic type of lifestyle. He was living as if he was very poor, yet he was a professor, but he went into that stage of being a poor man, and leading some principle that was sort of ascribed by the Sufi practice, which is like linked to Islam, And then at some later point there was some king or some ruler or something who sort of was like, no, we want you back to teach here in the university, because you have so much knowledge and stuff. And he sort of went back and did that, But I think he published 40 books in total, and now can I remember what the title on the book that he did, which has been very important, because he linked actually philosophy and theology, and sort of had some linkage between those things, Islamic theology and philosophy, and that has been very important for like establishing some form of platform and stuff, for that. I think it's called the religious the revival of the religious science or something like that. Yeah, I'm not sure what the title is, but as I said, he has a ton of books. He has written on patience, and he has written like to actually be patient, and just like I think he has written about a lot of different things, that is kind of important, within this whole, I don't know, not just religion, but just in life in general, So yeah, so I have kind of some book start, like book pile again. But I'm trying to get, as much as I can, because I might go to Dubai after next week, So if I do that, I'm not going to take any of these books with me, because that wouldn't be possible. I have yet some other books I can take with me that I own, but this pile, I'm going to try and read through this one in the coming week, and I think this pile is almost, I don't know how heavy this one is, but definitely too heavy for me. But the great thing about knowledge and these things is that, it's just concepts and all these theories and stuff, and you can sort of take whatever you want from it. You don't have to just consider that, oh, this is this is it, this is the truth or whatever. But you can sort of, question and get some ideas, and just like, reflect on it and see if it sort of is something you can utilize, or, that is sort of resonating with your perspective and stuff. And as well, in general, since I'm in the university, I get certifications on things I do. So for that reason, I mean, it's kind of, you know, good for me to read a lot of literature because I can use it in the courses that I'm doing. Because actually one of the things I would like to recommend is that if you take a course in the university, you have like a literature list, always check for other books as well, because I find that if I read a little bit wider when it comes to a certain topic and you know, thing, I always get higher grades, you know, I always get really good grades because I'm not just reading the course literature itself. I always try and find other sources about the same topic because that helps me to learn, and also I grasping a more holistic type of perspective on the stuff, and I actually getting quite good grades. So I must say that that is a good tip, you know, because the teacher and staff, they don't want to add too many books into the literature list because then the students are going to feel overwhelmed. But I mean, if you have access to a library, you can utilize it, you know, instead of wait until you are out of the university and then go and purchase very expensive books, because that's just waste of money basically, you know. So those are the books that I will be reading, hopefully, inshallah. I'm going to, you know, but I sort of have a good system for reading, so I get through the books quite fast. But anyway, thank you.